Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the iCUE H100i Elite Capellix. This is from Corsair. It's a 240mm AIO. We're going to be putting it on our test bench right here, which currently has the Be Quiet Pure Loop 240 that we looked at. But this has, 16 gigs of DDR4, 3600 megahertz RAM. It's got 5800X, 6700 XT, 1 terabyte NVMe, and a 750 watt power supply. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to show you what's in the box. We'll look at installing it, and then of course we're going to do some temperatures at silent and at max speed, and of course try and get some beauty shots of it as well. All right, let's look and see what we got. We've got safety and warranty. This here is installation instructions. We got some foam, and this is what we have. In the box, we've got two of these should be the SP120 Elite RGB fans. But these come with, I believe that's what it comes with. It doesn't say, but I'm sure that's what they are. They look like the SP120s. You get your mounting hardware, which is nice and separated. You get your other faceplate shield here. You get a an Allen head to change it. You get the TR4 retention kit here, the AMD retention, and the Intel retention. You also get some screws and stuff like that. This is miscellaneous hardware, as it says on the box. And then you get the iCUE Commander Pro, I believe is what this is called. This is going to control all of your RGB. And you can connect, I believe it's 12 different RGB devices to this, which is really cool if you really want to kit it out. And this is the cooler itself. Like Corsair's new cooler designs, I think they look really good. You got the nice Corsair logo there on the side. It's boxy. It doesn't kind of look like an AIO cooler. It looks like a very high-end cooler that maybe you get from EK and stuff. It looks really good, I think. And the new block design is pretty neat. It looks good. You can see it right there. It comes with the stock Intel mounting hardware on it. It's just an overall nice looking package. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at installing it, see how hard it is. Shouldn't be too bad on AMD. And of course we're going to get into temps and everything after that. All right, I'm going to try my best to mount this to where you can see everything. Sometimes this is a little tricky, but we'll get through it, hopefully. That's how I'm going to mount it in here. So you just take it and set it on it, doing the best you can here. Okay, there we go. Maybe it's a little bit better. And you just get both of these little key things lined up here. You should have enough slack to get them on it on both sides. Sorry, I know my hand's in the way. Okay, and then once you get it on there, you tighten it up on one side so that, not tight, but just so that it doesn't fall off the mount. I'm going to finger tighten it. Okay, so now it shouldn't go anywhere. So now, you see how it's on there. Let me get us a better shot here. There we go. So it just mounts like this. Okay, now you just tighten it up. Both sides rotate going from one side to the other, and then you mount your radiator. So this mount, not too bad. All right, so we got the cooler installed. It would be the H100i Elite Capellix. Showed y'all how that was. The mounting, not as good as the Be Quiet Pure Loop 240. If you've seen that video. The mounting, it's not bad, but it's not as good either. It uses the stock retention bracket, and you kind of put it on. You push it in and then twist it and everything. So it's not as easy, but it's not bad. It's better than some, of course. So that's pretty cool, right? That it's not super hard to get on. It looks really good. The faceplate and everything's really cool. It's interchangeable. It comes with an extra one. and it comes with 2 RGB fans. My fans don't work. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the core node or whatever they call it that comes with the cooler, but whenever I plug into that with my RGB, like, it just doesn't work. The RGB on the block works, but it doesn't work on the fans, and the core node won't control the fans as far as speed goes. So I'm not really for sure if it's the actual core node itself. I have heard that there's some issues with it, or if it's the fans, you know, which really stinks because it would have looked a lot better if those fans would have worked. In the future, I'll probably change it out and see if it's the core node or whatnot that isn't working. So let's talk about the performance of the cooler itself. Okay, so I ran Cinebench 2021, and I ran it with a silent profile, and I ran it at max speed on the fans. So we'll get to see how it does at silent, and we'll get to see how it does at max, and that'll give you a good idea of the type of performance that's in the H100i Elite Capellix. So for silent, our gigahertz, let's talk about gigahertz first, because everybody wants to talk about the gigahertz. So at silent, our all-core gigahertz was 4.5, and at max, our all-core gigahertz was 4.55. At silent, our single-core gigahertz was 4.8, and our max gigahertz was 4.8 as well, which is pretty much in line with what the 5900X does. About 4.8, 4.9 gigahertz is the most you're going to see on a single core. Temperatures. Our all-core temp was 78.8 at silent, and at max for all-core it was 77, so it went down 1.8 degrees. Our single-core temp was 58.6, and that would be for silent, and then it was 56.8 degrees on the max profile. And let's talk about our Cinebench scores. All core on silent Cinebench score, so it'd be the multi-core, is 14,906. For the max speed, it was 14,919. Our single core Cinebench score was 1578 at silent and 1581 at max. So we gained, you know, a little bit. So the difference between silent and max really wasn't as big as what I thought it would be. It wasn't like it was with the Pure Loop 240, where there was just a pretty big difference. I mean, there was like a 3,000 point difference between silent and max, both for multi-core, and then silent core was almost 100 points, or silent versus max for single core was almost 100 points. So there was a lot of performance to be gained from cranking the fan speed up on the Be Quiet. However, with the Corsair, there really wasn't much to be gained from going from the silent profile to the max profile. And I will say that this cooler is quite a bit louder than the Pure Loop 240. Also, it's quite a bit more expensive than the Pure Loop 140. Sometimes on sale, this can be had for $129, $139. Typically, I believe it's $149 or $159. And so for a 240 millimeter radiator, that's quite expensive, considering that you got the Pure Loop, which is really close. So it was only about a degree or two difference. And the multi-core score and single-core score was really close, within a couple hundred points between the two coolers, even though there's anywhere between a $30 to $50 difference in price. However, that price is made up for the fact that with the Corsair H100i Elite Capellix, you do get 2 of Corsair LL120 fans, or they may even be ML. It's one of the two. It's either LL or ML. They do have RGB. So if you think about the cost of a Corsair fan, it's about $25 each. So you get that, plus you get the core node, which allows you to connect 6 fans plus your cooler. So that cost, that extra cost, you're not gaining in performance, but you're gaining it in RGB. And so if you were going to do RGB anyways, it's actually cheaper to go with something like the H100i, unless there's certain fans that you want to get, like the LL or the QLs or whatever it is, any of the RGB fans that someone like Corsair offers, and then you got the core node and all of that stuff. And so it's made up because the performance on this is pretty much the same as a $95 cooler, and this is quite a bit louder. However, it's not as bulky, it's more streamlined, it does have better aesthetics, and of course it has RGB, which is a big deal. So thanks everyone for watching. This has been really cool to test this cooler. I did wish that the RGB worked on the fans. That would have been a lot cooler, but you live and you learn, right? So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. We've got several more coolers to look at. We're going to do a comparison between a Dark Rock and a Dark Rock Pro 4. See if there's any, performance to be had for going with a bigger cooler. We're going to look at the Dark Rock Pro 4 versus some of our AIOs to see how well, this $90 air unit handles temperatures compared to, an AIO. We've got several other AIOs to look at. So there's going to be a lot of different testing here on the channel. We've got fans to look at. We're going to look at some of the cheap fans on Amazon, the GIMs. We're going to look at some other fans. We're going to be looking at a lot of stuff on here on the channel. We're also going to look to see what fan is best. What fan works best for your AIO. And we're going to look at some Be Quiet, some Corsairs, some Noctuas. I think I've got some Fractals. We're going to look at several different fans in that roundup and see which one's the best. So if you like that sort of stuff, go ahead and subscribe, leave a like on the video, and leave a comment and let me know what you think about the H100i, if it's something that you would buy, or if you would prefer something that maybe didn't have RGB. Also, let me know what other cooling products you'd like me to take a look at. It's a lot of fun to do these, and as always, keep it real.